Preparing the lives. All right. Welcome. We want to welcome you guys to the first official live stream of the weekly Wellness Wednesday, WWW, not the Worldwide Wrestling Federation. That's a tongue twister. Instead, it's about wellness. Those guys could use this, actually. So we want to welcome you guys. I'm Robert here in beautiful Granbury, Texas. I'm being joined by my buddy, my brother from another mother, internationally renowned nutritionist, wellness expert. And this gentleman has spoken on radio and TV and all kinds of, he's immersed himself, how's this, in wellness and nutrition and how people get optimized and raise their health for, my goodness, almost 5 decades now, Jim.
Not that I'm that old. I just started when I was 5.
He wasn't even born yet when he started. So
right.
He was in the womb. He was in the womb talking how to do this. And we're also being joined by this beautiful lady down in Pearland, Texas, Donna Papengellin. Not Papengellin, as Siri always says. So we want to welcome you guys. So if you're here, well, let me just stop right there. Let me ask Jim and Donna this question. Jim, what's the value here? Why should somebody tune in to this conversation over the next few minutes?
Several, actually, on almost everybody's list, since it's the new year, is to usually get thinner. Okay, so we want to reduce some of that excess that hangs over the belt. And if they can do it healthily, they can get more benefits than just looking good on the outside. What you truly want is to look good and be good on the inside. And what we're going to be discussing today accomplishes both. So we look great and we feel great, and that gives us a much better outlook on the whole world.
I love it. And if someone's like me, who's never had a weight issue in my life, what's in it for people like myself?
The nutritional value and the rebuilding of new cells. Since we're a body of regeneration at approximately 1 billion new cells per minute, can you imagine if you could build them because in a healthy manner and rebuild even broken and damaged ones so that you had more energy, you had more definition, muscles included, and all the things we want, like brain cells. Okay,
I heard muscles, I heard brain cells. So that's enough in it for me. I'll stay tuned.
Okay.
So let's how about we bring up a real life living example of how to become a fat burning machine. And how about we bring up Donna and let's showcase her real life story, Jim?
That would be awesome. She's
okay,
beautiful already, and now she's getting more beautiful is what you're trying to tell me.
I am trying to tell you that, and she's glowing. So remember the subject, the positioning as you're on this live tonight or this recording is around some simple changes from the intermittent fasting shift we can step into, leading to autophagy. That I love the word protein, high level supplementation as well. So let's start there. So Donna, you were already on some great products.
I was. I started using them, my goodness, about 16, 17 years ago. Mm-hmm. And I had some really good results at the beginning. But as the years went by, I wasn't sustaining it. I wasn't having the kinds of results, and I wasn't able to sustain what was going on. And along with that, my husband had some health issues that required us to make some changes in his diet. So when I was introduced to the Zalevo products, they fit with that need. They had less sugar, they had fewer carbs, and high amount of protein, and that fit with the lifestyle we were trying to move towards.
Mhm. And you're also very active.
I am. So I spent 30 plus years as an athletic trainer taking care of athletic injuries. And I got into that field because I was an athlete myself growing up and sustained injuries of my own and learned, what that was about. And so I stayed active. And when I was in my early 40s, someone invited me to train for a marathon.
Mm.
And the furthest I had ever run before that was a 10K, which for those of you who aren't familiar, 10K is 6.2 miles. A marathon is 26.2 miles.
Mm.
Okay, so I had never run that distance in my life. I thought it was kind of crazy, but yeah, they encouraged me to do so, and I took on that challenge. I had put on a few pounds, and I thought that training for the marathon, I would take the weight off, but it didn't happen. I trained from July until the race was in January. I was running miles and miles a week, and I lost 1 pound over that amount of time.
Wow.
And my clothes didn't really fit different either. So you can't say, oh, well, you got more toned. No, not really. The clothes weren't fitting any differently. I was kind of just maintaining. So then I found the other products, and that kind of helped me initially.
And then how long has it been? 6, 7 months ago?
Yeah, since well, I received my products around mid-June of
Okay.
2021, and started on the Zalevo products. And wow, kind of an immediate difference. The weight started coming off, and then with our burn mode, when I did my intermittent fasting, because I did intermittent fasting before, but when I used the burn mode, I was able to sustain the fast easier. I didn't feel a need to cheat. With the previous products I was using, they told us that we could have, like, oh, well, if you get real hungry, you could have a few almonds, or, have this chocolate that, that you could, purchase from them and whatever. And of course, with the Zalevo products, they tell us not to do that because we want to get into autophagy. And even as little as 3 almonds can reset the autophagy clock. And I know Jim will get more into autophagy probably later. But I think that's what's made all the difference, is getting to and staying in an increased rate of autophagy. Because let's face it, our body is always got some autophagy going on. It's that increased rate of autophagy that we're looking for. And it really ramps up if you stay in that fast.
Awesome. And the end result?
So the end result, I went, well, let's just say I dropped roughly 25 pounds. It fluctuates, and I'm still working on it. So it's still trending in the right direction. But I've also gone from about 25% body fat to a little under 20% body fat in that amount of time,
Good.
Which I didn't think, and I'm 62. I'm not afraid to admit it. I'm 62 years old. For a woman, especially my age, to try to lose weight is not always easy, and losing fat as well while I maintain my muscle. And I'm still playing tennis. I'm still running. So I'm maintaining my muscle, but I've dropped the fat. So I love it.
Well, what a beautiful story. And thanks for being here and first of all, having the courage to share the story, and also being so proactive to make some changes in what you did with your nutrition. And that's really all you changed through that process.
Right. We changed up the products we were using, and went a little bit more, watched our carbs a little bit more, and increased the protein. So I got more in touch with how much protein I should be ingesting every day. and that sort of thing. And one other fun fact I wanted to share, I told you I ran that marathon and all. I actually weigh less now than I did when I ran that marathon. So to have that happen was pretty exciting too.
That's very exciting. So thank you again. So Jim, I'm going to hand it over to you. Jim, one of the things that Donna and I would love to hear from you, I'm sure many of us on this live and the recording, is what was happening inside her body for somebody who was already active, already fit, already taking some great, nutrition. Why? Why is this different? Why did it create these beautiful changes?
Well, several things. Number one, we have two sets of fuel, the sugar or carbs that we take in, and that's the primary fuel that all the cells of the body need. And it goes in and feeds the mitochondria to give it the energy to run the cells. And your mitochondria are your little batteries inside of all of your cells. And that's the normal fuel that it's pretty used to. But when we're younger, we also have a secondary fuel backup where carbs or the sugar is changed in the fat cells from a glucose into actual fat, okay? And when we stop using the glucose, when we drop the glucose, we can go back into where the liver will ask for the fat to come down and change it into a ketone, which is a much higher octane fuel than is the glucose itself. Glucose has to go through 11 changes once it's in the cell to be used by the mitochondria.
So hold a minute, Jim. So you're saying that what was happening inside this highly fit, active, beautiful lady's Donna's body back a few months ago, she was primarily burning more on the glycogen, more on the sugar side.
Correct.
Is that why she could run all she wanted, but she would still have that?
Correct. Why she didn't actually drop any body fat is she wasn't shifting into the use of ketones. When the body goes low on the glycogen or the glucose, you have to have some form of energy to continue doing what she was doing, training for a marathon, for instance.
So when she shifted the type of food she was eating, which was low, very low carb, much higher in ratio protein,
Yep.
That was one of the reasons.
Huge one of the reasons, but even better is during the times that she was mentioning the word burn, she was fueling the body with high nutrients, but did not contain the glucose, did not contain any sugars of any kind. And the body quickly switched, and you can retrain the cells to use fat as a fuel. And that's what she was able to accomplish. Our bodies know how to burn both ketones and glucose, but when you only feed them glucose, they prefer it. And they just resist any ketones. But with a little bit of coaxing and with the right kind of nutrition going with it, nutrient dense nutrition without the glucose, okay, or without the sugars or carbs, we're calling it, and without fat and without protein being introduced into the body quickly adapts and starts to use the fat, converting it into the ketones, and now you're in something called ketosis. And so you're burning the fat for your energy and your fuel. Now, while you stay in that state of ketosis into the 20th hour by sustaining every 4 hours while you're awake for the energy, this super nutrient, your body now can start to go into autophagy, as which she was mentioning a minute ago, which is the magic reset button for the whole body to regenerate.
I love that. So when she introduced, again, this environment, bear with us, guys, just to be very transparent. Many calls Jim and I do are generic. So we are in the environment right now. We're in our main wellness page on Zalevo. So it's kind of funny for Jim and I to switch gears. Bear with us. So Jim, when Donna introduced the Ultra 30 shake, which had like, we don't add any darn sugar to this formulation, this incredible high absorbable protein. And then she began to flood her body with that. So the ketosis began to happen. And then Donna, how many days before you did your first fast with the burn mode?
It was within the first week that I did my first, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I was already used to fasting. So
yeah, but you were used to fasting, but we didn't know it, but you kept resetting that autophagy clock. And
I did.
You mentioned you didn't snack, and Jim, you talked about that. So Jim, what happened on day 3 or 4? Donna's been flooding her body with this beautiful formulation, Ultra 30, fortitude coming in, balancing out her cortisol and stress. Okay, we got the beautiful gut support happening with our biomes. Okay, so now, very different from what she's ever done before. She's now entering a fast with some major differences.
Yes.
And I know you were talking about that, but I'd love for you to explain now why that was different for Donna's body.
2 reasons. Number one, she was still burning fat. So as the fat goes down to energize the body, turned into fuel, she also, approximately hour 20, had lowered so much of the glucose in her body, and glycogen was being used up, that the body now could go into an overtime of rebooting itself and go into the autophagy state, at which point it's still burning fat for its fuel. Okay, and you're doing this every 4 hours. You're putting this burn mode product in your body, which is loaded with nutrients, minus the 3 things we mentioned. And so you're super energized, and the ketones are energizing the actual mitochondria themselves faster and more efficiently than if you had the glucose doing it. Now the body is also minus something really important, and that's the delivery system for glucose, which is insulin. And with the insulin missing, not in the bloodstream, all the other hormones that are necessary to rebuild the body can now come out, particularly human growth hormone. And now you're rebuilding damaged and broken cells and building brand new cells from top to bottom. Whatever is needed and it detects is bad, it can now get rid of, which is aiding the immune system like crazy, helping with the brain system that may be not as active and strong as you would like it to be, to muscles, to everything, including skin, hair, eyes, you name it. Now, by flooding her body with this incredible protein full spectrum meal of these Ultra 30 shakes, and then ending that fast with that Ultra 30 shake, which is still keto friendly, low carbs, she stays in that ketosis even during that meal. But now she has an abundant, supercharged meal with every nutrient that the body could possibly utilize to rebuild all of these new cells and keep that going. And you start to see muscle mass going up and fat mass going down. And who wouldn't like that? Memory working better, sleeping deeper asleep, because the organs and glands are working better and the hormones are coming out again to play that are needed by the body.
And let's be transparent here. There's Donna. So did you say, I'm gonna just jump in and do a 48-hour? What was your, and some of our customers here with Zalevo, they say, well, let's do a little 20-hour. Then they expand it. They kind of train. They kind of are training their body because the body isn't used to staying in the ketosis. So Donna, what was your initial experience? So be transparent.
Yeah. Okay. So for me, because I was accustomed to intermittent fasting, my first one was about a 60-hour.
Oh, wow.
55 to 60 hours.
Yeah.
Because that's what I was accustomed to. But the big difference was it was a true fast this time. Whereas with my previous products, I was having little snacks. If I got hungry, I would have, a couple of almonds or, a piece of celery or whatever it might be. With the burn mode, I never got to the point where I felt like I needed to snack on anything.
Which was a
The
big
burn mode
shift.
sustains me. Yeah.
Are you one of those individuals that included the e-vibe in that process or not?
I do. I don't combine the two. I would have my burn mode first thing in the morning, and then maybe a couple hours later, depending on what was going on. Because if I had a tennis match to play that day, I would use the e-vibe for my tennis match. And I know that they don't normally recommend high activity when you're fasting because you can't get the proteins back into you right after, but it's something I've always done. So that's how my body.
Let me share something. Someone who is already fit can do what you do. Someone who has never done intermittent fasting is going to have a little harder job to go 60 hours like you did, number one. I had to go 24 just to prove that I could go that long because of my situation with my blood sugar, and discovered that I could go 24 and was feeling better than when I just tried a water fast or a juice fast in the past, and was totally blown away. And then the next one that I did, which was a week or two later, was a 48 hours. And I discovered that was as easy as the 24, which totally blew me away. And then I was able to actually accomplish a 60-hour. But the difference of this and most intermittent fasting is that sustaining nutrient that's going in, helping the body to remember how to burn fat. And here's a side benefit we haven't even talked about. While you're burning ketones, your cells, if you have a problem with insulin resistance, start to take down the barricades against that insulin and can become more healthy on their own and heal themselves from insulin resistance to become insulin sensitive. And you become a better fat burning machine every time you introduce this ketosis into your body. It remembers, I like fat, I like ketones. It is easier to process. It leaves less metabolic waste. It is faster and more efficient.
Wow. Yeah, it's fun. I love, isn't it fun, Donna, to hear kind of what was happening and what continues to happen anytime we are using these high quality, obviously the formulations, the shake, and now what happens through that beautiful fasting process.
It is. It's neat to realize what was happening inside my body while this was all, I was just feeding it stuff that tasted good, and the burn mode that kept me from getting hangry.
Yeah. And I was one of those hangry people, and with other attempts with many different programs over the years, And so, we committed to keeping this tight because we're going to do this on a weekly basis, guys. So let's, I know there's if you're watching this live, we got some live participants. You know how these work. Most of our watchers and viewers here will see this after the fact. That being said, for those who are watching this, feel free to go to I can see your comments. It'll be a little delay, but we do want to give it time for a little Q&A. So if you do have some key questions you want to ask any of us, Donna or Jim specifically, then put those in the comments as we kind of wind this up. For now, we've been going about 21 minutes. We promised them a tight half hour or less. So are there any other directions? While we're waiting for some questions here, Jim and or Donna, are there any other, I guess, here's a good question for you, I guess, in closing I have for you, Jim. If there was one key takeaway around the whole intermittent fasting, autophagy storyline, if you will, then what would be one or two of the key components that you want people to know specifically about why we're different with our Zalevo system?
The reason why this is so unique and years ahead of anything I've seen out there is the sustainability. Now, we're saying that word lightly, but it is not light. Most people have difficulties going more than just like 10, 12 hours overnight, which is an intermittent fast. And then they break their fast with breakfast. If you can go clear to 24, the difference is night and day. And with this super nutrient dense food that we're taking every 4 hours, that's what makes this so uniquely different and sustainable, that even someone with a blood sugar issue like myself can actually go 24 hours, actually go 48 hours, and not be weak. I can exercise, I can go out and do those sort of things and get prepared for another half marathon at my age, which is unheard of. In my normal fasting mode, I could have never accomplished what I now can.
Yeah, on other fast types experiences, not so much. I'm an athlete too, so endurance. So I wouldn't just be hangry; I'd be a little weak, and that would, and I would get mental fog versus mental clarity. So Donna, another closing thought too, as we wind this up. I know you mentioned your hubby, Doug here. So what was? Can you kind of give us a 1-minute synopsis of his journey as well?
Yes. So he had never done intermittent fasting. He always resisted that. And so he went ahead and he's now done several 24-hour fasts. I think he's gone as long as maybe 30 hours. He hasn't, he's not quite willing to try the 60 yet with me, but he's using it, and his numbers are looking better.
Yeah, we have to be compliant. We say numbers is fine, but numbers, whatever that means, I think you all can guess, but yeah.
And he's enjoying some good results, and he's dropped even more weight than I. He's
Wow.
How guys are, they drop more weight. I think he's dropped about 30 pounds, 35 pounds, somewhere in there. And so he's happy with the results. It's easier on his knees when he gets around the golf course. He's not having pain going up and down the hills as much.
No, I love that. And we do have a question come in to close up with your story, Donna, you and your hubby. So Jen mentioned sustainability. So do you see this being sustainable for you and your hubby, you and Doug?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. It's just now, I mean, even when I'm not in the midst, like right now, I'm in the midst of a little challenge. We have a group that's doing a little challenge. But even when I'm not, I mean, first thing in the morning, I'm looking for my shake, and about when I'm not in the middle of a challenge, usually I'll do a 60-day fast every maybe 2 weeks.
A 60-hour fast?
A 60
You'll
hour, not a
disappear.
60-day.
There you go.
No, 60 hour, about every 2 weeks or so. Or sometimes I'll just I'll just feel like maybe I overdid it, and maybe I had a celebration or whatever, and I need a reset. So I'll do just a 24-hour or whatever. So yeah, it's definitely sustainable. And the fact that the shakes are delicious, I mean,
That helps.
it makes it really easy.
And even the burn mode's delicious. I mean, all the products, they taste really good. All the products. So,
And
but
the
Donna, we so appreciate you. So Jim, quick question. And again, well, you of all people know how to answer this in a compliant way. Okay, so let's be compliant. But Barbara, thanks for Barb. Barb said she mentioned somebody who potentially has maybe dementia or Alzheimer's. Can they fast? And she mentioned, can they fast more often? I'm not sure what she means. Barb, you might want to re-ask the question. Do you know what she's asking, Jim?
I kind of do, yes. Is it healthy for her to fast and fast often? And the answer is absolutely. I don't care what age you are, autophagy can help if they can be on a sustained nutrient dense, like the burn. They can do it more, and it becomes a lifestyle to where if you're doing it once a week or once every 2 weeks, just even a 24-hour, because it starts to become easier and you don't get the low energy as you normally would try if you were doing a intermittent fast. Now suddenly it's as easy as it's on your eating days. And so that's the whole difference for anyone we have several people who are of an older age, and I'm getting there. You know, I'll turn 74 here in a short moment or two, and I'm getting ready for a half marathon. That's not easy, but at the same time, it's sustainable for me and it's enjoyable. Just like Donna mentioned, the products work when you put them in your body. Nutrition always does what nutrition does. You can't not do it.
Exactly. It's how God made our body. And he gave us what our body needs. We have a way now that in this beautiful cornucopia buffet and these beautiful formulations that are so clean, to put this clean food in our body and support our body through this process. So yeah, it's such a gift. Well, Jim, thank you for being here. And Jim, for those listening, yeah, Jim has spent his whole life, I say his whole life, over almost 5 decades now, in this arena. Maybe that's a closing question for you, a closing comment. Why have you spent most of your whole adult life in this arena of wellness and nutrition?
It seems that I was thrown into it at a very young age of 11. I inherited the same problem that my mother had suffered from, which is high blood sugar, low blood sugar. And I was diagnosed with that disorder at age 11. And she taught me several key things to do: exercise, stress management, low carbs and high proteins, and things that I was grateful for. Got me to some great companies with great nutrition, which when I used them made all the difference in the world. And everything I think to this point has taught me that when I ran into this particular group of products, and there's only 6 or 7 of them that work so synergistically in my body, I saw great results. I'm seeing it with my sweetheart and all the loved ones that I'm introducing it to. Who wouldn't want to sleep better? Who wouldn't want less stress? Who wouldn't want stronger immune system working, stronger skeletal system, nervous system? Maybe the most important is what it will do for my memory and my potential of Alzheimer's, which is something I've seen that happen even in my own family. And that's one road I do not want to go down. And when I heard that just by dropping your insulin resistance, that's a major player in Alzheimer's. And this product can help us do that.
It helps support the body in dealing with that. So,
and the magic of what it can heal.
Yeah.
That's
so
right.
it's again, to me, the summation here, I'm sure Donna and Jim, you would agree, this is a priceless gift.
I agree.
It's the gift of vibrant health. And my closing thought is that I want to go out and live life full and vibrantly and then drop off. I don't want to start dying before I die. I don't want to fade away. I want to just live it and then follow the line or whatever that looks like. So if you're watching us tonight, we want to thank you, because the VIP on this line, I always say, I always do this, reach out with your hand, turn over your left shoulder and pat yourself on the back for showing up. And we 3 of us showed up tonight because we care about you. We do. Otherwise we wouldn't be there. There's many other places we could be, many other businesses we could be even pursuing. We're here because we love serving you and serving other people. Jim and Donna, love and light. If you're watching this live tonight, thanks for being on. You watch this recording. This is a beautiful community with products that work. One sentence, Donna, in closing.
Get this magic into your body. It's wonderful.
I love it. Jim, one sentence.
Very same sentence. Put it in here and watch you light up. It proves itself.
I love it. Love and light. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Have a good
Thank you,
evening.
Robert. Thank you, Jim.
Bye-bye. Thank you.